So hello everyone, welcome on my channel. I'm really excited for this video, as in this video I've invited over a senior of mine, Harshavardhan, who's currently employed at Microsoft. So he'll be sharing over his journey of how he went from a private university all the way up to Microsoft, his knowledge and everything in between. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then please do so, it really helps me out. I'll be bringing more content to you guys about competitive programming, data structures and algorithms, interview preparation, placement preparation, etc. So do subscribe if you haven't, really helps me out. And without any further ado, let's hear from Harsha. So hello everyone, today I have a special guest on my channel. I have Mr. Harshavardhan, who's a senior from my college, Coimbatore campus, and is currently employed at Microsoft. So Harshavardhan, would you like to say hello?
Hello, all. Excited for this. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, so I'm also really excited to have you here. So first thing I would like to ask you is how you eventually got to the job where you are at Microsoft, because that is considered a really big company and a dream company for majority of CS students. So you being from a private university which is not that good while compared to IITs and all, so how would you say you eventually got to the job at Microsoft starting from a private university in CST?
Correct. So, okay, where shall we start from? If we are starting from tier one, comparing tiers of colleges, it is a whole different topic for another day. But then, for any tier three college or basically any college which is other than IITs and NITs, I would say the normal path would be by going to TechSetGo Microsoft internship program. So that's a program is offered to third year undergrad students, wherein you just get a 2 months internship offer if you clear those rounds, and then you will be given a full PPO, pre-placement offer for you if you are good enough in that internship. So that's how even my process was that. But one difference is that our college, Amrita Vishwavidya Peetam, really puts so much interest into Microsoft that they specially train for these people. So it's company based training, and yeah. Definitely, I'm thankful. I'm not saying that Amrita is any lesser than any other college other than IITs or NITs. And the process would be starting like this, somewhere around September. So probably you are around the end of your 5th semester. That is when you'll get your applications. That is when you can apply to this program. It's generally comes with different names, but most commonly it's called as MIP, Microsoft Internship Program, and it might have some names like TechSetGo. I've seen. Apart from this, I have seen my juniors who are your seniors, like 1 year. 2021 batch, I have seen that they have got into Microsoft at least till the internship offers by a program called as Microsoft Engage, wherein you'll be selected based on your resume and initial screening, and then you'll be given a Microsoft employee as a mentor, and for 2 months you need to work under them and build something cool, and then based on the feedback, and then the decision will be made based like should we convert you into a full-time employee or not. So once you went to the stage of internship, it's all the same, or any program is the same. You basically need to get it converted to a PPO, and then you'll be back as an FT. So same was the case with me. During my 5th semester end, there was this applications open for TechSetGo, and we applied for that. And around Jan or Feb, we had a test, initial online round, and following that, there were 3 rounds of interviews and one pen and paper round. And after that, we were given offers for internships. And once we got into the internship, after 2 months, you'll be getting to know if you are selected for PPO or not. And then after your 8th semester, you'll be coming back as an FTE. So that's how I landed up there.
So basically, you should be on the lookout for these programs like TechSetGo and other internship
Exactly.
programs, and that is the best way to get into it, right? So would you
Yes,
elaborate
yes.
a little on how you prepared, because there would be a lot of students applying for such programs and lot less get in, right? So would you elaborate a little on how you prepared?
Yes. More than preparation, I would say how you want to get yourself equipped to face these interviews.
Yeah.
So what I have seen is a lot of these people. Two things are definitely important. One is DSA and having some cool projects, side projects,
Okay.
maybe something like web development or Android, iOS app development, or maybe some IoT applications you like in IoT. Any cool projects which demonstrate that you are not someone who is just uh, well known by books. I mean, like who is only a reader, but not any who doesn't implement basically. So one thing is you need to be able to showcase your talent. It's just not possible for the interview to believe in your certifications alone.
Yeah.
So have those skills and have some projects which back those skills. So you're saying that, hey, I'm very good at HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and this is my portfolio website, and this is the link, go ahead. So structuring yourself and presenting yourself as a whole package, saying that, hey, these is, with me comes my expertise on of these topics.
Yeah.
And for that, obviously, I'm not saying just for Microsoft, for any huge company, be it Google, Microsoft, or Uber, or any other company out there, one thing is for sure, that you need DSA skills.
Definitely.
So concentrate more on DSA in the starting phases, and coming to the end of your third year, so like from the start of third year itself, you can start implementing some projects, because by the time of 2 years and you're a CSC person, or any I mean, as a CSC undergrad, you will obviously be attracted, to see into what these web devs and what are the frameworks and all that stuff. So basically, when you learn, just don't do a to-do list app. So
Yeah.
start with something more useful, so that you can eventually put that. Maybe you might have a wonderful idea, and maybe you might present it in a hackathon. You will have all the code already ready, just have to polish it up and present it in a hackathon, and that will be a huge asset on your resume.
Yeah.
So these kind of things, having these small differences, like having these small thoughts always in your mind, saying that, how can this add to my portfolio, or how can this add uh, as an USP of me, like what's my USP. So the creating that USP is what is most important. And yeah, that's it for me. And I would just say that start early a little bit. You don't have to wait till the coding course comes up in your curriculum. You
Yeah.
can eventually even start right from second year starting itself. If you are someone in which you have learned computer programming, or even the basics of it in your +1 and +2, you need not wait till fourth or fifth semester, wherein generally a lot of colleges these days have those advanced algorithms courses. So you'll have some buffer time as well, and that will give you an edge over the other. So obviously, Microsoft or any huge company cannot hire everyone. So they tend to be picky. They want to see what this person specifically can be advantage to us. So because obviously you're getting your salary and all everything, but eventually for the company, it's who are we hiring, who are we bringing into the companies, who can be an asset to a company. So you're presenting yourself as a very good asset, and having that USP is most important.
So on the topic of starting early, like you said that you should be starting early. So what advice would you give to freshers, people who are first year, second year, who are just fresh off into CSE? What advice would you give them to utilize their time, what to do, and like that?
Yeah. So my I am from Andhra Pradesh. So over here we don't have any coding courses in our +1 and +2. I have seen some state boards have those courses specific to coding programming and stuff. And I guess with this new education system, or that new policy, that about new education policy, that coding will also be a part of curriculum in earlier stages of studies itself. So that's something to come yet. But then before that, what I would say is, myself, when I'm in the first year, I don't know what's a for loop is, I don't know what C language is, how those works, or what's a compiler, what's an interpreter, what which is better, and all this stuff. I'm not aware of these computer concepts basically. And I have some friends, who are already into competitive programming, who does this challenges on CodeChef and stuff. And it was kind of, if you are someone who can relate to me on this front, you might also feel intimidating. You might also feel that, hey, what's this? Yeah, there's a lot happening around, and I'm not aware of what's going to be my future. But trust me, once the process goes on, and once you get into a second year and third year, it's not much behind. You're not much behind. You are, if someone is starting at second semester, you might be starting at around third or fourth semesters. That's it. And I would prefer, like our college per curriculum has coding course. The starting course, at least for our batch, it was in third semester. So third semester is when we started learning about different data structures and stuff. So even before that, if you are very thorough with your, the basic coding practices, maybe you can start with C++ or Python. Again, a language battle, but then you can go with choice of it. Basically, at that point, at your second semester, the point is not like if you can code very good or not. It's just that, are you familiar with coding, familiarizing yourself with coding, getting out of that cold start period, which will which will put you ahead of everyone else, like a lot of them, at least a lot of them. Yeah. So starting early, I mean, I'm not saying that at the first day of your first semester itself you need to be start co-chef, hacker rank, and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is just be aware that go at your pace, and just keep looking stuff, and there's literally nothing that you can't learn online these days. And there are wonderful people coaching for you on YouTube, for example. I guess, yeah, Hitesh is an online YouTuber, and he's doing wonderful work. There are a lot of people, telesco.com, so that there are some YouTubers who do this thing like programming with Mosh. So these are people who do it just for free on YouTube, and all you want to do is just dedicate some time to it early. And for DSA, and you don't, I'm not just saying to start early only for DSA, I'm saying it on a whole. So even web development, it's not much of a trouble if you start learning HTML and CSS in your first semester. You can be doing some cool stuff. You might be thinking that, hey, what is this? You might open the CRED app right now and seeing that, hey, this UI is wonderful, and my UI just has a button and a text box. You just have to trust yourself that it takes time to build up your quality, and to enhance your designing capabilities. Or it's just not in web development as well. I'm just taking CRED as an example because I just love the interface of the app. So similarly, at any, even in DSA or anything, it just takes some time, to get to a stage wherein you're like, hey, this is the problem, and I think these are my 10 different approaches to this, and this is the most optimal one. So that if that is your end goal, you might just start with the most basic, um, what do you say, brute force approach, and then start optimizing it. So in your first semester, even if you're coming up with a brute force solution, I would say that it's very good, because I didn't know what's a for loop at that time. So what I'm saying is, just don't feel overwhelmed. And if you're a fresher and you are saying that, hey, what is this going around me, just take it calm, deep breathe, and it's just say that the time will heal everything. And you're just not that back behind. It's just in your mind, that's it. So keep starting on taking some online courses, um, and have fun at it.
Okay, so that is for freshers like who still have a lot of time. Now I want to ask you about something a little more difficult. So what about students? There are some students who come at third year and then their placement process starts happening. Companies start coming for on-campus placement, and there they feel like that it's a little bit too late to start now, or there's this race and a lot of companies are coming. My friends are getting placed. This is happening. That is happening, and it's just really overwhelming. So what advice would you give to students who are at the beginning of placement process or even in the middle of it and they feel like they're a little behind or they haven't done a lot? What should they do now at this point?
Correct. So DSA is not something, it's not like some 30 minutes crash course and you can just increase your level to the next level, right? So it takes time to build your process. So acknowledge the fact that you started late. You don't have to be, pseudo about it. You don't have to have that feeling. You started late, but then what I would, say is, you can have these wonderful programs. One such thing I have come across recently is called as Programming Pathshala. So it's kind of like, it's a website wherein they teach you DSA and stuff, but they teach you so good. But basically, how I'm saying this is that my brother is currently taking that course and he got placed also. Uh, it's a wonderful program. It's a something like 8 week or 12 week program. I'm not here to sell that, but then what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
there are some similar programs out there who are people who can get you started, get you quickly started.
Yeah.
Say for example, if you're going on YouTube and you just want to start learning DSA and stuff, you can still do that, but you might not have time for it.
Yeah.
So invest in these programs, wherein you can quickly get ahead of these. And beside this, because since you're just starting, you might not have very huge advantage, like you might not get, or you might still get some intuition, but then it's far different from those who is preparing for the last 3 years or something. So besides doing this, you should also invest your time in making some creative projects. That is where the projects come into picture. So even before this all interview started, I was discussing with you when you told me about our senior who got into Google, right? So that person might have taken some time off and then got into Google. So maybe it doesn't matter even if you are not placed in, during campus placements, but I sincerely hope that you get placed in campus placements. But then it's not the end of the world basically. So it's not like you won't get it off campus. That person must be an inspiration, and you should invite her onto your channel someday,
I did
if you haven't
actually.
already. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
So that off-campus drives are a lot of them, because companies like Amazon right now who have started a very huge campus at Hyderabad, so they are hiring in bulk, to be honest. So like, obviously not comparable to other companies, but but rather than, but comparing to the usual trend of hiring, they are at a bit higher rate. So you should be open to these opportunities and keep applying to multiple stuff, even when your on campus is going on. If your campus allows that, then do that as well. And once you are good with your DSC and you have some side projects meanwhile, then you can start applying for these companies. And if you still have companies coming for your, for your college, then please go ahead and apply it, and there's a much higher chance. So basically what I would say is, if you are in a hurry and you feel that you are going behind, in quick time, what are the projects that you can do, and you can still showcase your talent over there. So sometime, let me tell you this thing straight, DSA is important for interviews, but once you join into the company, there are so many roles which doesn't require DSA. I'm telling you, nobody will ask you, uh, will ask you to solve a greedy solution. What if they want you to do a backtracking or dynamic programming on your day-to-day life. So obviously there are some scenarios, maybe you want to optimize some search or something like that, then you might still want to use, rather not just that, a more complex solution is required there. But then what I'm saying you is, if you are having such compelling like such wonderful projects, companies which know that they don't need that much of DSA skills, but they don't have any other go. So imagine a company is coming to hire some people, and they see that you're not that good at DSA, but you have wonderful designing skills, and that company is looking for someone who is looking for a UI specialist or something. So at that point, that company can make a choice that, hey, DSA is fine. I'll just go ahead and I'll just uh, ask some basic questions on DSA. But I see that his projects has very good UI element, and he could be an asset to a company. So at the end of the day, the companies don't totally assess if you're good at DSA or not, but eventually it will map to, are you adding any value to that company in your own way. So that is where, you say that, hey, I have this plural site, I have this Udemy certificate. It doesn't make much sense. You can just keep click on play to all the videos and get that certificate. So only once you show your work in terms of projects and saying that, and also be specific on ordering your projects. So it depends upon what profile you are applying to. Most of us would be to general software engineers, then the order might not matter much. But then if you are going to apply for a specific role, saying if it's for a UI engineer, or is it for a backend guy, or have that in order. And then that will also say that, hey, he has put effort into making all this, and I see that these are his projects. He might be a little behind at DSA, but I don't think that will be an issue, and we can hire him. So that is the scenario we are looking at, or we are aiming at. So if you're feeling behind on that, then start making I'm sure that by the end of like third year where you are there, you're almost there of understanding where your strengths are.
Yeah.
So focus on them and apply for relevant roles, and make those projects to strengthen your portfolio. There is this very nature that is required for a software developer. So maybe I'm going a little off topic than what you asked, but basically, for a software developer, it's in a nutshell, basically they are not hiring you for what you already know, but they're hiring you for the ability you have to learn on the go. So that's the thing.
Yeah. So basically, you should have some projects which show your unique talents, like show your uniqueness or your unique twist to it, right? Okay, so I guess that will be all. Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for taking out your time and being here on my channel. I really hope that this video helps freshers as well as people who are going through placements, and help and inspire them to do better in the future. So again, thank you so much for being here.
You're doing wonderful work. Congrats and all the best.
Okay, thank you.